Okay, to wrap the topic up, so the Explorer is pretty intense, but the main thing to take away from it is a couple things, and that's when you square something in an equation, it can help us, but we just have to be careful. So this is the big idea of the day is that what moves do not change solutions to equations. We know that we can add a number, we can subtract a number, we can multiply a number. Now be careful with that. Dividing a number. We know all of that stuff, like numbers, constants to equations. We know that that stuff doesn't change solutions to equations. So changing the order of the equation, distributing, any of those properties don't change. But what moves, good word, what moves did change the solution sets? Things like squaring. Now, it doesn't have to, but it might, and that's going to be important. Something like square rooting also might change things. We're not going to do a whole lot of square rooting, but that could change equations. And then the other one is multiplying or dividing by a variable. So by like x or x squared, so a variable. And those are some things that we just have to be cautious with. They don't come up really often in Algebra 1, but they will come up in Algebra 2, calculus, different things like that. So let's just look at one example. So remember, and I'm going to go through some things that you could do to try to solve the equation, but let's just kind of look at some examples. But remember that multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting, a constant, a number, doesn't affect the solution sets. So my personal advice, I would multiply this equation by 12. That would be a phenomenal thing to do because the 12 divided by the 12 reduces to 1, and I get x equals, let's do a little fraction review, 1 times 12, 12, divided by 3 times 1, 3, so I get x equals 4, all in one shot. So the solution, I'm going to write this down over here, is x equals 4. But let's just take a peek. Remember, we're trying to explore this idea of adding, subtracting, multiplying by a variable. So in the case of this problem, let's square things. So let's square everything. Square it, square it. So if I square this, I get x squared divided by, ooh, jeepers, what am I doing? X squared, sorry, is over 144 equals 1 over 9. That's squaring both sides. So then if I were to go that route to this kind of a similar strategy, multiply by 144 instead, I get x squared equals 144 over 9. And when we think about what squared gives us that, what squared gives us 144 over 9, I know that 12 over 3 squared gives us that, which that reduces down to 4. But in the case of this, so does negative 12 over 3. X equals negative 12 over 3. Because if that's negative 4 squared also comes out to be the same thing. And in fact, we could reduce some things down. 144 divided by 9 is 16. So that might have made it a little easier if I had done that before. 4 squared is 16, but so is negative 4. So we actually added a solution. So the tip that I'm giving everybody is anytime you square both sides of an equation, we just have to be careful.